Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie with Love Misunderstood Institute, and we're having conversations with Stephanie. I'm your host, Stephanie Hawken Hall. Welcome to the show. This show will educate you about bullies, inspire you with hope, and empower you to stand up to the bully or choose to change the bully in yourself. My guest on today's show, I'm happy to announce, is my son, Gene Williams. Hi, Gene. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Welcome to the show, and thanks for choosing to share your story to give others hope. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been a personal trainer for quite some time. Certified personal trainer, and also a certified yoga instructor, and also do a lot of community service. Um, uh, and then, I'm very creative, so that's my day job. The exercise thing is my day job. And then at night, I'm an artist of all sorts: singer, songwriter, actor, model. Anything you can think of, I'll probably do it. So yeah, that's just kind of a little spiel on me.
And you forgot one thing
I'm sorry, my business name is Premier Fitness.
no, not that, about homeschooling the kids.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I homeschool my two kids because I feel like it's very important, and that's something that my mom did with me while we were growing up. So
yeah,
I kind of passed it down to my kids.
He's teaching his kids doing homeschooling longer than I did. I did it with him and his sister, my daughter, for 1 year, and then I homeschooled her. They went back to school, and then for a year, and then after that year, I homeschooled her for a half a year. So, Gene, I'm really glad you're on the show. Thanks for wanting to share your story. A lot of people, we're going to be talking about school bullying. Gene's going to share his experience with school bullying, and I'll chime in and share some about my story as well to help him through his bullying experience. So, but before we do that, I want to give you some rules for the show. No questions that make the guests feel uncomfortable will be answered. That may mean that the question is either too personal or that the person hasn't healed in that area yet. You'll hear, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. I ask you that you not take it personal when you get that response. Although the show is to educate, inspire, and empower you, some questions are just too difficult to answer, and that's okay. So please type your questions, comments in the comment box. This will be on Facebook, and it'll also be on YouTube. If you have questions, ask the questions, and we'll answer those questions accordingly. And so we don't want to ask any questions that may cause the guests harm or make them feel uncomfortable. This is already an uncomfortable conversation that we have. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. They like to ignore the fact that it even happens. But thanks again, Gene, for being on the show. So tell us what you remember about your bully experience, what you'd like to share about that you remember. Go ahead.
I was going to say, unfortunately, I've dealt with bullying a lot. School, as an adult as well. But because we're talking specifically about school bullying, I've dealt with bullying as it pertains to other students, teachers. I unfortunately had more than one friend commit suicide because of bullying in different times in my life. One time in particular, I was maybe about 11 years old. Had a really cool friend. Her name was Erica, and she was bullied a lot because of her skin, because of her hair, clothes, things like that. Things that she had no control over. And I befriended her just out of kind of protecting her. I always knew she was a cool person, so she was like she deserved the bullying. And then I'd say maybe after 2 weeks or so of us being close friends, I didn't hear from her. I didn't see her in school for like a week, and then come to find out, she committed suicide. She hung herself in her closet with a bicycle chain. So, you know, that kind of left a stain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know, kind of hard thought to go back to, but I remember just like how rude, how mean the people were to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were relentless. They didn't care. It was multiple people all the time pushing her around and messing with her hair and, you know, making you know, light of her skin color and things like that. And yeah, so unfortunately that one ended tragic.
So is that that's the one that I think I know about, that committed suicide. It's very hard for kids. It's very hard for people, period, when they're being bullied and they just don't understand what the heck is going on. You know, why people are being so mean to you, why they treat you bad, what, you know, what's the problem. And so when you have no backup, when you have no help, no support, um, and even, you know, at home, I mean, at school, you go to school and you have all these bully experiences, and then you go home and you have no support, you have nobody to talk to, nobody to help you through the process. It makes it even more difficult, and that's tough for a kid. I mean, to experience that kind of thing. Who was the other person? Because that's the one that I think I know about in sixth grade. Is that right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Fifth grade, I believe it was. I had another friend around maybe 11th grade. Another girl. She was bullied because of her weight, because of the way she looked, things like that. You know, she was poor, and she took a lot of pills and passed away that way.
Okay.
And, you know, and I had another friend in college, so you know, kind of the same situation, but a little worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember those two situations. I do remember the first one that you talked about. So I want to share just a little bit from a parent's perspective on how I helped my son through that during that time. I was bullied a lot as well. It was very difficult for me to try to help him through the experience while I was going through my own bullying experiences. But it was very hard for me to speak up for myself, but it was easier for me to speak up for y'all. I don't know if you remember when I went to the school and talked to, uh, I'm not going to say the man's name, but you know who it was, the teacher and
Oh
and
yeah.
when I went and talked to them, and they, you know, just, you know, kind of laughed in my face about the situation,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, lady, please, you know. So, and I remember that situation, and I remember how I felt, and I remember how helpless I felt and how hopeless. And so I want to add to that too. When I working at the police station at the time, and I remember that was your first year coming home by yourself, and so that was your first year in junior high school. I remember a lot of stuff about that year. But I remember when would come home, you know, the neighbor would watch you go in, and then you would call me to make sure you got in the house, and then you would call me and say, "Mom." So by the way, you said "Mom" when I answered the phone at work, I knew whether you had, you know, what kind of day you had, and I just felt so hopeless and so helpless, you know, because I really wanted to help. How can I help my child? So when I share this story with people about school bullying, I always tell them that every morning, and I know you remember, every morning I got up and I would read the Bible and I would spend time in prayer before you even got out of the bed. And so
Right.
my only way of being able to help you through that time, because I was weak, you know, from my own bully experiences. So because of that, I knew that I had to continue to do that. And then when you came home and told me about the girl committing suicide, then I knew, oh, no, that's not an option for my son. So I knew that I had to continue getting up, praying, and spending time reading the Bible, because that was my only strength, you know, and way of giving you hope and help. And so, do you remember what we used to say every morning before you go catch the bus, before you walk out the back door?
Not quite.
We used to always say, I love you, and remember, pray without ceasing.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
We
Yeah.
did that the whole school year. And so that,
Yeah.
helped you then. But I knew once you got to school, then, things were going to be different and it was going to be, tough. And I was always hoping that, it was going to be a good day. But so much stuff happened that year. And that was why the next year I homeschooled y'all. I was like, I can't take it another year. So,
Right.
and I know you said, well, we're talking about school bullying, but did you want to share anything else about school bullying?
Uh, well, I mean, one major thing is like, as you said before, is that having a support system is a big thing. Having other kids, if it's a school bullying situation, just having other kids who step up and speak up for you,
Yeah.
to show that they actually care. Because a lot of times, like you said, you feel lonely, you feel singled out. Um, Man, it's crazy the amount of feelings that you get when people just pick on you for no reason. You have no idea as to why they chose you to pick on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the big thing is just being a support system for someone who's going through something like that. Being that sounding board for a person who's going through something like that. And then helping people who are going through that find other means of being creative and expressing themselves so that they don't internalize everything.
Yeah.
And then take it out on themselves, like my friend did. She, instead of expressing it outwardly, she internalized everything, and eventually she felt like it was necessary for her to take her own life. Yeah. So that's a major thing. Yeah, those two things: a support system and finding a creative outlet, or helping those who are going through it find a creative outlet, would be a major thing.
Right, and that's good. That's good information. We gotta help them use their voice. I mean, they may not have a voice, for themselves. Yeah. So just like I didn't for myself, I could, speak up for y'all, but I couldn't speak up for myself. So being that voice for somebody to help them to tell the person, hey, don't do that, that's not nice, don't do that to them, to be that voice and to be that help, and that temporary hope for that person, and then to continue to support them throughout that time by talking to them and spending time with them and helping them feel wanted.
Right.
Those are, some of the things that you can do. Instead, some people, there's what's called secondary bullying. And the secondary bullying, the bystanders join in and bully the person that's being bullied just so that the bullies won't bully them too.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's tough too. And there's other types of bullying. Did you want to share any other stories or anything else? Any other experiences about bullying? Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, unfortunately, bullying is the same. It's just in different, you experience in different aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Even you have school bullying, and you go to work and you have work bullying. You have, family bullies. There's just it's crazy how many different forms of bullying there are. Yeah.
True. So I educate about relationship bullying, workplace bullying, church bullying, and then school bullying. And when I talk about school bullying, I share your story and my responses to it. And the other experiences are my experiences, because I've experienced bullying for over 50 years of my life. And unfortunately, bullying goes across lifespan. I mean, it starts, in preschool, and even before. Kids don't even realize what they're doing when they're taking toys from each other and pushing each other around. That's bullying. But and that's what it is. And then seniors, when I talk to seniors about bullying, they say, I don't bully, I never bullied. And I'm like, ooh, y'all just don't know. Y'all do it.
Right, yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And thanks for being an inspiration. Do you want to add anything else to motivate the listeners?
Just always know that regardless of what's happening, there's always another day. Don't ever give up on yourself. No matter how tough it gets, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much you just want to be like, you know what, I'm done with it all. Keep pushing, keep taking that next step. And one day, all of that bullying, it will all. One story. Yeah, I do have one story I want to tell. One thing that really stuck to me was my senior year. I was going to Ferndale, and I was bullied there as well. None of the people in my 12th grade class liked me at all, but maybe two people out of everybody. A new student came in. She was from Poland. She was really smart, very nice. We became associates. And so around the time of yearbooks, we all had pictures and stuff that we took for yearbooks. She gave me a picture. She wrote something in Polish on the back of it. I don't remember exactly how to say it in Polish. What she said in the message was, basically, don't take this pain personal. It will all work out for your good in the end, in essence, is what it said. And that really stuck with me. Yeah, it really stuck with me. It's like, you know, even though this hurts like I don't know what right now, I know that if I keep pushing myself, I'll learn from this and I'll become a better person because of it. So if you could allow the hard situation to make you better as opposed to killing you, you know, you'll be way better off.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
That's very true. Thank you for that inspiring message. Thank you for, like I said, sharing your story. Thanks for being a part of this show. And I just want to educate as many people as possible, inspire as many people as possible, and empower them with the tools to get through those situations. You know, read affirmations, positive affirmations, read positive books, listen to inspiring music, encourage each other. You know, those things are important. Those are some of the ways that you can get through your bullying experiences, and learn how to love people in spite of their flaws, in spite of their meanness, and sometimes that'll change, you know, the situation. It'll change them and get them to start treating you right, and they won't even know why. You know, but will have empowered yourself to be able to stand up and speak out, use your voice, and say to the bully, no, that's not acceptable, and say it with confidence. That's something that's very important. So thanks again for being on the show, and I will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.